The UFC Octagon heads back to Abu Dhabi Etihad Arena for UFC 321. Will be significantly warmer over there, although the weather here in Vancouver is beautiful. It is an awesome event there. We are going to have the strawweight title up for grabs in the co-main event, but of course the main event is Tom Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane. This is such an awesome fight. The heavyweight title up for grabs. Tom has been an unstoppable force, seemingly, Michael, since, the one injury, but an unstoppable force since he got here and joined us on Fight Island in 2020. What makes him so special?
I mean, it's his natural gifts matched with his work ethic. This is a guy that's so big, so fast, so athletic. And when athletes have those types of gifts, sometimes they lack in that work ethic department, which he does not. He's an absolute workhorse, and it shows. The guy's always in the gym. He's got great boxing. That's probably his best attribute, is the power in his hands paired with his speed and his movement. And you guys have met Tom Aspinall, and I said it in the meeting. He's got presence. When you just meet the guy, when he walks into a room, when you shake his hand, there's just something about him. He's got an aura of greatness about him. That's why he's the heavyweight champ.
Well, speaking of greatness, take a look at some of these stats. 7 first-round finishes, tied for the most in UFC since 2020. Shortest average fight time in UFC history at 2 minutes and 2 seconds. He's got the largest strike differential, significant strike differential per minute. And listen, both lowest in UFC history in bottom position time. And it's just insane how talented this man is, Anthony. But the thing is, he has spent the last year campaigning for a fight with the GOAT, Jon Jones. It never materialized. Now he's got to fight Ciryl Gane, who is a legitimate threat. So does he have to win in emphatic fashion now? And how hard might that have been for him to kind of focus on two people?
Well, yeah, the pressure is absolutely on. He needs to go in and have a phenomenal performance versus Ciryl Gane. Because if he has a close fight with Ciryl Gane, and it's not fair to Tom what we're going to do to him if he ends up in a tight fight with Ciryl Gane, because that guy is an absolute monster in his own right. But if he doesn't go in there and do what he says he's going to do, then people are going to start comparing what Jon Jones did to Ciryl Gane, which was essentially kind of buzz right through him. All the while, he's been thinking about Jon Jones for an entire year, and now he's got to flip the script to Ciryl Gane, who's a totally different athlete and a totally different problem.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, is like, for people that know the sport, not everybody can do what Jon Jones does. Not everybody has an 85-inch reach. Not everybody has the great wrestling credentials he does that are very unorthodox and hard to deal with. So you can't compare apples to apples if Tom has a tight fight against Ciryl Gane, because Jon Jones is Jon Jones. He fights a completely different way. Styles make fights. I think that Ciryl Gane does have a lot of the same gifts and talents that Tom does. He moves very well, very light on his feet, good boxing, and fast for such a big guy. I think that's going to be the biggest problem that Tom faces, is he's kind of looking in the mirror. He's fighting a guy that's very much like himself.
It's almost as if Michael read my script, because that's literally what I was about to ask you, Anthony. I'm saying Ciryl is another A-plus athlete in the division, with agility, with power. So how does this man win, Michael?
How does Ciryl win?
Yeah, how does Ciryl win?
I think he just has to be himself. He's obviously going to have to defend takedowns, but if you follow him on social media, he's been working on his grappling and wrestling game for a very, very long time. It was very clear in the Jon Jones fight that that's a big hole in his game, so he's been working on closing it. If he can defend takedowns and he can drag this fight into the later rounds, he can use his mobility, he can use his agility, his speed. And for being as big as these guys are, they're very, very well conditioned. We've seen Ciryl Gane in deep fights, and something that gets missed all the time is he is very, very pretty, but he has a dog in him. He's got some grit. We've seen him in tough situations with Tai Tuivasa. We've seen him in tough situations with Francis Ngannou. That guy will dogfight if he has to.
And there's like a little side note that I just thought of. Tom Aspinall actually on the regional scene lost by leg lock, and I'm watching that highlight package of Ciryl Gane, and I'm seeing Ciryl Gane win by heel hook in the UFC. Could that be an X factor in this fight?
The last place you want to be in a heavyweight fight.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, but it just got my wheels turning. This is MMA. It wouldn't be the craziest thing that's ever happened.
All right, well, that is UFC 321. That is next week. We do want to look ahead to UFC 323. We're going to have 2 title fights on the line for the final pay-per-view. This is coming on December 6th at T-Mobile in Vegas. So Anthony, the machine apparently doesn't have an off switch, because bantamweight champ Merab Dvalishvili is going to defend versus former interim champ Petr Yan. This is a rematch. What do you make of the matchup?
I love the matchup. I love the first fight, but Merab is just an absolute sicko for as much as he's fighting this year. It's insane. I'm excited about this because now people are getting a second chance at Merab. I'm not saying I want Merab to lose, but I want people to figure him out. I love this game of MMA. It's this mental, this mental chess. Petr Yan has an incredible skill set. He did claim that he didn't have a very good right hand. He was injured in their first fight, so I'm excited to see how he does the second time around.
All right, well, Michael, we'll also see flyweight champ Alexandre Pantoja defending for the 5th time against power puncher Joshua Van. Is this grappler versus striker, or is there more to it?
Oh, this is grappler versus striker through and through. And for Joshua Van, this is a kid that punched his ticket by taking out Brandon Royval, who we all felt was the rightful #1 contender, that fought way down the ladder, gave Joshua Van a chance, and Joshua Van and him put on an instant classic. And then you got Pantoja, who has become the flyweight king. And you talk about flyweight, you're talking Demetrius Johnson, you're talking Brandon Moreno. You put Pantoja ahead of those guys now, and he's looking to punch his ticket to maybe clean out this division, and potentially we could see him and Merab clash. I love that they're in the main and co-main event slots, because if both of those guys win, Merab's cleaning out the division, Pantoja's cleaning out the division. I would love to see those two guys fight if the stars align.
I am excited to see what happens if Josh Van defends the first couple takedowns and Pantoja does struggle to take him down. I think one of the positives for Josh Van is he knew as soon as he fought, he was next in line for the title, so he had a much longer time than a lot of other people will get to start dealing with the problems that Pantoja brings.
I just like that we have Yan and Van on the same card, and are people, is it going to become Yan and Vaughn and Yan? It's great marketing, though, having them both.